On March 7, 2020, Lisa Chernova, who was 13 years old at the time, disappeared in the village of Bokino in the Tambov region. She went to the disco on March 8, but never came home. Hello, this is Defunct City. Subscribe to our channel and don't forget to click on the bell so you don't miss new episodes and stay up to date. Lisa's mother Tatiana asked her to come back early because she didn't want her daughter to stay too long. Lisa called her mother both when she got to the disco and when she left. The girl said she was walking by the store and would be home soon. She had about 10 minutes to go, so her mother got worried right away when the girl didn't arrive on time. The last time Lisa caught the cameras in the village was at 21 hours and 45 minutes. The disco was supposed to end at 22 o'clock. After the girl did not show up at home in time, her parents started looking for her, and Tatiana's husband took the road the girl was supposed to take. But there was no sign of Lisa anymore. The girl did not answer the phone. Later, the man met the guys who were walking from the disco, and some of them reported that they heard the screaming of a girl and the rattle of the wheels, but did not pay much attention to it. Lisa's mother started calling friends and relatives. The woman asked for their help in the search. According to calculations, 660 people came. Other eyewitnesses told the girl's parents that they heard screams, and there was some suspicious car. The boys gave the license plate number and make of the car. The girls who stayed in the club heard some shrieks. She was calling for help, said Tatiana. Soon there was a video online, allegedly showing the girls, acquainted with Lisa, who say they saw her leaving and being chased by a car. As she was walking home, she managed to call her mother and tell her that she was chased by a silver foreign car, and then she was kidnapped, the girls recalled. But, according to her mother, her daughter did not tell her anything like that. Besides, the girls are sure that Lisa's friends were also followed. And on the night of the murder, the girl was allegedly followed by people who couldn't help but hear her telling her mother about her stalker. Already on March 9, a 36-year-old resident of Kotovsky, Alexander Lipatov, came to the local police to confess. According to other reports, the police came to the place where the car in question had been seen, as his make and license plate number had been reported by eyewitnesses. When the officers arrived at the site, the man was barbecuing with relatives and drying the washed seats from the car, according to Lisa's mother. And the car itself belonged to the suspect's aunt. It was very strange that the man was drying his seats outside on the 9th of March, when it was cold enough outside. Law enforcement officers seized the car for examination, which later revealed traces of blood on the seats. This blood belonged to Lisa Chernova. According to the girl's mother, the accused did not plead guilty, but he was formalized by a confession. During the interrogation, the accused changed his testimony several times. He said that initially he just asked her the way to Kotovsk and never saw the girl again. Later he said he hit the girl on the evening of March 7 just as she was supposed to be returning home from the disco. Then, having decided that the girl was dead and out of fear, he allegedly took the body and dumped it in the river near the village of Bikina. There were also witnesses who claimed there were 3 men in the car and it regularly stopped in that area. But, according to Lisa Chernova, no one from the investigation paid any attention to this. Surveillance cameras captured footage of Alexander washing his car at a self-service car wash after the girl went missing. Local residents began looking for the missing schoolgirl almost immediately. They were soon joined by volunteers from the search and rescue team Lisa Alert, the Emergencies Ministry, and the police. In total, about 650 people were involved in the search. After the suspect confessed that he allegedly dumped the body in the river, divers joined the search. The divers surveyed the river bottom where the suspect was pointing for 2 days, but they did not find anything. On March 10, on the bank of the river, volunteers found a black bag containing adult toys, a wig, and underwear. But the investigation said it had nothing to do with the case. According to Lisa Chernova, when Lisa had not yet been found, the investigative committee gave the command to stop searching for the walking volunteers and leave only the divers. Allegedly, they got in the way. But no one answered the question of how foot volunteers could interfere with a diver of a woman. According to the conviction of Lisa's mother, this was done so that the body would be searched only in water. People were unhappy, but no one answered the question of why they were curtailed. And the girl's body was found the next day in the woods, where the volunteers were going. The body was found on March 11th buried in the woods near the town of Kotovsky, where the suspect lives, and about 11 kilometers from the village where the girl went missing. Forensic examination showed that Lisa was strangled. The cause of death was called mechanical asphyxia. Before the murder, terrible things were done to the girl. The version that Lisa was hit by a car is not considered after the expert's conclusion, since no traces of an accident were found on the car, and there were no injuries on her body from the collision with the car. On March 11th, the police brought Lipatov to the place where the bag of adult toys was found. After all, as the defendant claimed, that is where he had thrown the girl's phone. The man was then taken to the place where he buried the body, Kotovsk. According to the investigation, the accused hit Lisa with a tire iron in the car. But the mother of the deceased believes that this is impossible, as there is not enough space in the car to swing it. Later, the investigators mistakenly listed the street where the crime had been committed. When asked why they made such a mistake, they replied that they did not live there and did not know the name. They also took their time questioning all the witnesses and relatives of the accused, since Lipatov's brother could have been driving the car. They were both taking the car on business. The forensic examination found other bloodstains, epithelials, and human hair in the car, which the expert could not identify, since there was nothing to compare them with. But the suspicion of the investigation that there were other people involved in the case did not appear. The chief investigator told the mother of the deceased that Lipatov had 3 hours to take, kill, and bury the girl's body. Although this is not confirmed by any testimony, Tatiana says that at night, when the ground is very cold, it would be impossible for a man to dig a hole 1.5 meters deep in 1.5 hours to 2 hours. All the more so 2 weeks before the tragedy. The man had a cast removed from his arm, which he had broken, hinting that he was either not alone or not him at all, but also that this hole could have been prepared in advance, if the man had been preparing for the crime. Detail of the calls from Lipatov's phone were not ordered until the summer, 3 months after the crime. As it turned out, on March 8th, the accused called his brother Pavel Starodubov after committing the crime, and after that he called the detective Sergei Korolev. What's the name of the one in the phone book? But no one from the investigation, according to Lisa's mother, questioned these men and did not find out why the accused called them 2 hours after the crime was committed and what they talked about. At the trial, Lipatov said that he owed a large sum of money, 11 million rubles. He was told that if he didn't give it back, he would have to work it off. But to whom the man owed the money, he did not answer. According to Tatiana Lipatov, he was forced to kidnap the girl, but he had nothing to do with the other crimes. To prove her words, she cited the example that there was a lot of blood on the girl's clothes, while there wasn't a drop of it on the defendant's clothes. Although it was proved that he was wearing them at the time of the crime, the relatives of the deceased were outraged how he could not get dirty when there was so much blood. After numerous questions from the woman, the authorities recommended that they stay out of the investigation and mind their own business. After the crime, the woman received calls from federal channels offering to visit their show, but after their offers, they abruptly changed their minds and stopped calling Tatiana. Many newspapers presented everything as if no one had any questions about the case, and are silent on the fact that Liz's parents are not happy with the results of the investigation. Most unusually, Lipatov's lawyer himself supported all motions of the injured party to send the case for further investigation. And he did it, according to Tatiana, because he knew that the guy was really only involved in the kidnapping. The woman told the interview that she believes there are more people involved in the crime who have not been punished and are trying in every way to close the case due to connections and blame everything on one person. The girl's mother wants the case to be sent in for further investigation. She is sure that only a public outcry can help. I leave links to the interview investigation and all the materials, as well as links to the video I took the footage from, in the description. Each of you can read the case materials and help your views and comments achieve a more detailed investigation. After all, there are so many questions left in the case that no one is rushing to answer. Some of you may think that you shouldn't have let the girl go alone so late to the disco, especially at this age. And he will be right. But the parents certainly couldn't imagine such a tragedy to happen. After all, this is the first time in Bokino. And as it seems to me, it is necessary now to direct the forces to support the girl's relatives and to publicize the problem. On March 23, 2001, the Tambov Regional Court found Alexander Lipatov, a 36-year-old resident of Kotovsk, guilty of the abuse and murder of Elizaveta Chernova. He was found guilty on 3 counts and sentenced to 24 years in a strict regime penal colony and compensation of 1 million rubles. But the girl's mother was not satisfied with such a sentence. After all, in her opinion, Lipatov could not commit such a crime alone, which means that he had accomplices. But in turn, representatives of the Regional Investigative Committee say that they have checked all possible versions. And with his versions, Lipatov is trying to avoid punishment. See you on the Defunct City soon.